Deep dives and blue skies. Welcome back to Talking Blue with Nick, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Blue, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. I'm your host, Nick. Today you're listening to episode 35 of Talking Blue. Today we're going to recap Dodgers Rockies series. Dodgers listened to me. They swept the Rockies. They get their first sweep since late April. So we're going to get into all that. We are back in my regular setup at my house. Sticking with the camera video, the video that's on my computer, not necessarily my camera that's set up. It's a little easier for me right now. I'm still kind of hobbled with my ankle injury. So I know the view's a little different, but I'm still at my desk. I still got the candle here. Smells like a Dodgers win. I got my beautiful dog, Gracie, over here. You can get this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for those who like to watch. You can follow us on social media at Talkin' Blue Pod, TikTok. We got Instagram Reels as well as X. You can follow my personal X at Talkin' Blue Nick. And then on Reddit at competitive-week8715. A lot of stuff on Reddit as well. Been posting a lot, getting more followers on TikTok and on X, so that's very nice. I've had a lot of new followers on X as well, so that's really cool. So let's waste no time. Will be a pretty quick recap series. Three clean games. Dodgers played really well. Not really any drama or anything like that to talk about. So just talk about some three Dodgers wins, a sweep, and then we'll get you guys out of here. So let's go ahead and get right into Game 1. Game 1 was on Tuesday, June 24th. Jack Dreyer ends up being the opener. Justin Robleski comes in to pitch a lot of the innings. He goes up against Marquez of the Rockies. The Rockies actually get on the board first in the bottom of the first. Michael Toglia, he doubles into left field to put the Rockies up 1-0. Then another Michael Toglia double would make it 2-0 Rockies. The Dodgers would, of course, respond. In the top of the fourth inning, an RBI ground out from Teoscar Hernandez cuts the lead in half. Then Andy Pages, he puts a ball in play, a fielder's choice, makes it 2-2. Will Smith is safe at the plate. Then Michael Conforto. We're going to talk about Michael Conforto. He had a pretty good series. Really haven't talked about Michael Conforto much this year because he's had a pretty bad year. He hits a 3-run homer to right field. Puts the Dodgers up 5-2, gives them some breathing room. Then Mookie Betts, a really good sign. We'll talk about him as well. He pulls a double down the left field line to make it 6-2 Dodgers. Later on, Thairo Estrada makes it a 3-run game, a sac fly to make it 6-3. Then Shohei Ohtani hits his 27th home run of the year, so the Dodgers go up 8-3 now. Dodgers would let in some runs. Thairo Estrada hits a single. It's now 8-4 Dodgers. Then Tyler Freeman doubles. This was in the 8th inning to make it 8-5. Jordan Beck doubles. It's now 8-7. Teoscar Hernandez would give the Dodgers some insurance in the 9th, and it's now 9-7. And then they would win by a score of 9-7. So Dodgers get the win. They win the first game. Goes Jack Dreyer for 1 as the opener. Justin Robleski goes 5. Kirby Yates for 2/3. Vesia for 1/3. Anthony Bonda for 2/3, and then Tanner Scott goes 1 1/3. He gets the save. Jack Dreyer, like I said, went 1, and then Justin Robleski goes 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts from Justin Robleski. So we'll just quickly talk about Robleski. He's continued to pitch really good and looking like he could be a legitimate weapon for the Dodgers. Again, I'm not sure how that will turn out. But he's at least giving the Dodgers an option and kind of making it hard on the Dodgers. We talk about it ad nausea where the Dodgers are at with their pitching and all the injuries. And any pitcher that can give them length out of the bullpen, innings on the mound, whether it's starter or bullpen, is very valuable. And then obviously when it gets to the point that you're actually pitching well and stuff like that, I know it sounds very kindergarten, but when you're at the point where the Dodgers have been just gutted with injuries, guys like this are very valuable. Justin Robleski was valuable at the very least, that he had options and that he's a guy you could just throw out there. Now he's actually given the Dodgers something to think about. I don't know if he'll stick around in the long run, but like I said, he went 5 innings in this game. He threw 86 pitches. It's really interesting, his pitch mix. He's one of those guys who on TV, it says that he throws a lot of sinkers, but you really can't tell. Sometimes when there's guys who throw sinkers, Felix Bautista, closer for the Baltimore Orioles, he's one of these guys who it just looks like he's throwing a four-seamer, but on the TV, kind of where the scoreboard is, where if that scoreboard is like what the pitch is exactly, like it's a sweeper, a slider, a four-seamer, if it's specifically describing the pitches, sometimes you'll see guys and it'll say sinker and it'll be a little bit surprising. Wroblewski's kind of one of those guys who I always just think he's throwing a four-seamer and then a cutter, changeup, curveball, slider. So it does mark him as 2 different fastballs. So he threw 38% four-seamer, 20% sinker, 19% slider. He also throws a cutter, which is that low to mid-90s pitch that he throws, 13%, and then 6% changeup, 5% curve. He's always been a guy that has pretty good stuff, but interestingly enough, lately, the last month or so, he kind of regularly will touch 99 a couple times throughout the game. He maxed out at 99.5 in this game, but then it's funny, he averaged 96.7. So for a guy who doesn't seem that big on TV, I'm interested to see how big is Justin Wroblewski. 6'1". So yeah, he's definitely not a big guy. The fact that he's able to throw that hard, hopefully it doesn't lead to like any injuries, but he's got explosive stuff. Again, I don't know if he'll stick around, but he's kind of become pretty valuable for the Dodgers the last couple of weeks. We'll see once like Emmett Sheed comes back, Ohtani gets lengthened out a little bit more, maybe Tyler Glasnow comes back, something like that. If he'll actually stick around and stuff. But at the very least, with his explosive stuff, maybe he gives the Dodgers a bullpen option from the left side. Continue to kind of increase his strikeout numbers. One thing that's really good about Wroblewski is that he's always been really good with his command, even when he's gotten hit around at times. He is in the 77th percentile in walk percentage. He has a 6.5 walk percentage, which is a huge decrease from what he had his rookie year at 10.4. His K percentage is now at 22.8. It was at 16%, 16.9 his rookie year. So he's beginning to increase the strikeouts a little bit. He's very good with his barrel percentage. He's in the 83rd percentile in barrel percentage. Also gets a lot of ground balls, 75th percentile in ground ball percentage. He's got his ERA down to 4.91. So again, he's not by any means a dominant pitcher, but with the increased velo, some of the swing and misses going up a little bit. It's pretty interesting. He's become a little bit more interesting. I kind of mentioned him. I don't know if it was before his start against the St. Louis Cardinals or after. I was kind of like, he's kind of whatever. But he's become a little bit interesting. So shout out to Justin Wroblewski. And then in the offense in this game, Michael Conforto went deep. So we'll talk about him after game 2 because he did a little bit more stuff. But Dodgers have 14 hits in the game. Didn't have any walks in the game, but Mookie had 2 hits, as well as Will Smith, Muncy, and Teoscar, and Andy Paz, and Michael Conforto. All had 2 hits. So the only guys that didn't get hits were Freddie, and then Kike Hernandez, who comes off the bench. So a lot of offense. Did strike out a lot. They had 11 strikeouts, but a lot of singles. Guys bringing in runs. Shohei had 2 RBIs. Mookie had an RBI. Teoscar had 2. Michael Conforto had 3. So won't talk about anyone specifically in this game. Nice game. Dodgers get the win over the pretty bad Rockies. So we'll go to game 2 now. Game 2 was played on Wednesday. Yamamoto versus Chase DeLander, the rookie for the Rockies. So, of course, this game had a rain delay in the middle of it, but fast forward to the 6th inning. Yamamoto was dominating. Dodgers were not really doing anything offensively. The rain begins to fall. 2 runners are on base. Max Muncy is at the plate. Pretty wild moment. Hits a pop-up right at the first baseman. Second baseman, first baseman looking up for the ball. Second baseman, you could tell right away on TV, he doesn't see it. Toglia doesn't see it. The ball falls. 2-run score. And then the game immediately goes into rain delay. So kind of like a hilarious moment. Just kind of like sums up the Rocky season. and just crazy moment for the Dodgers. Muncy gets 2 RBIs on what should have been just a routine pop-up. Then the game, like I said, goes into a delay. After about an hour or so, hour and a half, they resume play. Andy Pages bloops in a single to right to make it 3-0 Dodgers. So, later on, Yamamoto is done after the rain delay. He gets through 5 scoreless. Rockies get on the board. This was on a Hunter Goodman single. Andy Pages kind of made a bad decision to throw the ball to third base. He threw the ball away, which allowed a run to score. But then in the 7th inning, more RBIs and big moments for Max Muncy with the bases loaded, 0-2 pitch. He gets a slider out over the plate and hits it out to right center for a grand slam. So the second grand slam for Max Muncy in the last 3 games. So he's got a ton of RBIs that he's been tallying up as of late. Later on, Michael Conforto hits another home run, second home run in his many days. His 6th of the year. It's a solo shot. So the Dodgers go up 8-1. They would win by a score of 8-1. So they win the first 2 games of the series. Yamamoto goes 5. Lou Trevino goes 2/3. Vesia 1/3. Michael Kopech for 1. And then Will Klein goes 2 innings. He actually has pretty good stuff. He was unfortunately optioned after the game, though. So the story early on in the game was Yamamoto. Shinobi Yamamoto goes 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Pretty dominant performance. It was really unfortunate that the rain delay came. Once, again, Yamamoto was not getting any run support, but the rain delay happened, and then Yamamoto had to get taken out. You know the Dodgers aren't. No teams are really going to send their pitcher back out there, especially the Dodgers. But what was really unfortunate is that Yamamoto only had 56 pitches in the game. So he gets through 5 innings, 56 pitches. He had 11 whiffs in the game, so he was getting swings and misses, strikeouts. I mean, the fact that he got through 5 innings and only had 56 pitches, he probably would have easily got through 7, maybe even more. He would have easily got through 7, probably gets like 10 strikeouts, something like that. So that would have been nice to see. The stuff was looking good. So Yamamoto was actually relying very heavily on his splitter. So normally Yamamoto, we've talked about in the past how he's increased his splitter usage this season. But as the season developed, he would go back to using the fastball as the most often used pitch. In this game, 29% splitter, 25% curveball, 20% cutter, and then 20% four-seamer. So the four-seam fastball was actually tied for the 3rd most often used pitch in this game. Like I said, he only had the 1 hit, and those 11 whiffs, 6 were on the splitter, 4 on the curveball, 1 on the cutter, no on the four-seamer. So we talked about it before. Yamamoto doesn't get any whiffs on his four-seam fastball. But another really great outing for Yamamoto. He is now just 1/3 of an inning away from tying his career high in innings. So last year, Yamamoto, of course, got hurt in June, I believe it was. Then did not pitch until September. The very end of September, he came back. I remember his first game was against the Cubs. On the year, he finished with 90 innings pitched, 105 strikeouts. He right now is at 89.2 innings pitched with 101 strikeouts. He's got an ERA of 2.61. So, again, we talked about it all year with Yamamoto, one of the best pitchers in the game. So, I think it's interesting that right now he's pretty much tied his career innings limit. Pretty much has had almost the exact same year. He's just has a little bit of a better earned run average. In 2024, an 8.3 barrel percentage. This year, it's 7.2. He had a hard hit percentage of 41.3 last year. Right now, it's at 41.4. He had a K percentage of 28.5. Right now, it's 28.4. The walks have gone up a little bit. Now, he's been better the last few starts, but a walk percentage of 6% in 2024. Right now, 8.7. His ERA in 2024 was an even 3. Right now, it's 2.76. And then the expected ERA was 3.44 for 2024. Right now, it's 3.15. So dominant numbers. The fastball's got a batting average against of 198. The splitter, of course, is 148. That's one of the best pitches in baseball. The curveball has been a lot better. We talked about it when we would go over Yamamoto's individual pitches, one of the only pitches that wasn't that great was his curveball. Right now it's at 245 with the expected batting average of 237. The cutter's at 242, but that is an expected batting average of 311. The sinker's at 278. So the splitter, like I said, 148 batting average with a whiff percentage of 41%. So the Dodgers have actually just now played over 80 games or 81 games, like half a season. So the All-Star break is going to come up in a few weeks. So there's kind of no point in doing like first half reactions and stuff like that. I'll save that for the actual first half of the season, especially when there'll be more time because there'll be a little bit of time off. But of course, Yamamoto, can't say enough. Dodgers ace. He's continued to be really good. Kind of sucks that this outing specifically did not get to see him for a couple more innings. But so far in Yamamoto's young career, in 179 innings pitched, he has 206 strikeouts, an ERA of 2.81, and a 1.08 WHIP. So he is only 26 years old. Obviously, the Dodgers signed him for that. I believe it was 10 years. Was it maybe 12 years, 10 years contract? Basically going to have him his entire career, definitely his prime. It'd be kind of funny if a guy who came over from Japan signed for $325 million, which is kind of crazy to give a guy that much, you might think. They might get a bargain out of him. I mean, we'll see, how the years go on, but he's only 26 years old and he's got an ERA in his career under 3. That's one of the best starts to a career in terms of the Dodgers history. I think only maybe Kershaw and a couple other guys have been better. So, Yamamoto, we love you. You're one of the best pitchers in the game. Then we'll just quickly talk about Michael Conforto. Haven't talked about Michael Conforto pretty much since like mid-April, early April. It's kind of weird with Conforto. It's kind of odd that he's been so bad. I thought Conforto was going to be a pretty savvy mood. Now, I didn't think Conforto was going to be like... I didn't think he would have an OPS plus in like the 140s or even 30s or something, but I thought it was very possible that he would have like OPS plus of like 115, 120, maybe 125. He would hit like 20, 22, 24 home runs, something like that. He gets on base. Not necessarily a full platoon guy, but maybe they would, sit him against some lefties, stuff like that. I thought he was going to be a very savvy move for the Dodgers. A lot of people thought that as well. And I really thought that at the end of the year, he would be hitting in the 7th, 8th, 6th slot in the lineup, something like that. And he would have like an OPS in the high 700s, like just really an underrated move in a deep lineup. It's been anything but that. He's got a batting average of 176 with a 302 on base, 308 slug, and his OPS is down to 610. So, yes, it's a good sign that he hit these 2 home runs. He has definitely been unlucky throughout the year. But at the end of the day, when you're hitting 176, it's kind of hard to like defend you, unfortunately. The one thing he does well is walk. He's in the 87th percentile in walk percentage. He doesn't chase very often, but he swings and misses a lot. It's kind of weird with him because that's kind of a player that he's been throughout his career, like a guy who doesn't chase, who walks, who will strike out, but like will get on base and hit for power and stuff. So I do think that if he was a little bit more lucky, he would have better numbers and would maybe be closer to league average. But when you tie in like career lows and squared up percentage, really bad strikeout and whiff percentage numbers, and then when you tie that with really unfortunate luck, you're gonna have a bad year. And he's not really great defensively, so. I don't think this like buys Conforto. I guess it buys him more time that maybe he doesn't end up like getting TFA'd or something. I saw a lot of Dodger fans, ironically, were like not celebrating because they're like, oh well, now Ha-Seong Kim's not going to get playing time. So we'll see. I mean, it'd be great. The Dodgers go to Kansas City. It'd be great to see Conforto get hot. Unfortunately, his numbers have been so bad that like even if he goes on a heater, like his numbers can't even like get that much better. I mean, his batting average 176. He could get that somehow over 200, and he's never been a guy with great batting average numbers. But his OPS is 610. So even if he went on a heater and got his his OPS close to 700, that's still really bad. So I think at the end of the day, Conforto, I don't know what will happen with him. I think come postseason he's not going to be playing. After the trade deadline, he probably won't be on the Dodgers anymore. Whether that means he gets released or traded or whatever. Now, again, the Dodgers have the best lineup in baseball, so at the end of the day, if you have one guy on your team who's bad and he's hitting at the end of the bottom of the lineup, especially a guy who at least will walk, they might be able to, live with that. But if the Dodgers also can make moves and upgrade, I'm sure that they will. They're going to give him a chance, though. It's been basically half a season. We're a couple weeks from the All-Star break. At the very least, you get to the All-Star break and you feel like you gave him a fair chance. So it's nice that he hit those 2 home runs. It's kind of funny because, ironically, I do believe in him, but he's just, at the end of the day, he's been so horrible that, you can't defend him. So it'd be nice to see Conforto get hot, but we'll see what happens. So let's go to Game 3 where the Dodgers completed the sweep. Let's get that game in quickly. Brennan Doyle hits a home run off of Kershaw. So Kershaw is the starting pitcher for this game. He is going up against the left-handed Gomber. So Brennan Doyle takes him deep, 1-0 Rockies. In the third inning, Mookie Betts hits an infield single to tie the game. So Mookie gets a hit. Freddie Freeman then gets his first hit of the series and puts the Dodgers up 2-1. Later on, Shohei would hit a home run into right center, his 28th home run of the year. Dodgers go up 3-1, and they win by a score of 3-1. So Clayton Kershaw, like I said, he started the game. Kershaw goes 6 innings pitched. Kirby Yates 1, Michael Kopech 1, Tanner Scott 1. That's how you would like to draw up the game, pretty much, with the bullpen, maybe minus Alex Vesia. So Clayton Kershaw goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, which is almost exactly what I said he would do. I said he would get 4 or 5 strikeouts, and then in his next start, he would be about 3 away from 3,000. That's exactly what happened. So Dave Roberts could have let Kershaw keep going. Clearly, he was going to keep him back so he could get the 3,000 strikeout at home. So Kershaw only threw 69 pitches in this game. So like Yamamoto was obviously because of the rain, but similarly enough, Kershaw could have went deeper in the game. 6 innings pitched, 69 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts. I thought he would have at least sent him back out for the 7th. He was still 3 strikeouts away. He's not a big-time strikeout guy, so I don't think Kershaw would have struck out the side. And maybe he strikes out one guy, and then when you face the White Sox next week, Kershaw's maybe 1 or 2 away instead of 3. So Kershaw, though, once again, he continues to pitch very good. You just can't. It's kind of funny because his first few starts, I talked about it. I was a little bit starting to worry about him because of the expected numbers, but right now, 38 innings pitched for Kershaw. He's got a 3.03 ERA. In those 38 innings, he's got 29 strikeouts. Again, I keep saying this. If you look at his expected numbers, they're not great. It's kind of always going to be that with guys who don't throw very hard. They have 3.98. He only has a 17% K rate, but the walk rate's been down. He hasn't been walking guys. And again, the thing that he's been elite at is barrel percentage so far. In 2025, he's got a 6% barrel rate. That's in the 80th percentile. Like I said, not really giving up many home runs, hard hit balls in the air. He's starting to get the ball on the ground more. His ground ball percent is up to 45%. So at the end of the day, 37-year-old Clayton Kershaw is getting outs, pounding the zone, getting at least a little bit more whiffs. When you look at his individual pitches, that's something that we've talked about a little bit with Kershaw. Slider still has a batting average of 283, so his slider is the pitch that's been getting hit a little bit. But he does have a 30% whiff rate on that pitch. Four-seam fastball, 262 batting average against. The curveballs continue to be his best pitch at 174 with a 46% whiff rate. So his curveball has been elite. Really valuable to the Dodgers rotation right now. Like I said, he's got an ERA of 3. So Kershaw just continues to prove if he's healthy, if he's out there, he's going to put up good numbers, not really going to have any bad seasons. And he is 3 strikeouts away from 3,000. Pretty cool. It's kind of nostalgic for me to see Clayton Kershaw. I know I don't talk about myself personally that much on the pod, I've been a Dodger fan my whole life. I'm 24 years old, so you guys can do the math. I was born in 2000. I started watching baseball as a kid in the late 2000s, where I could start to remember players and, uh, have my favorite players and stuff like that. So I grew up on the 2010s decade. That was the decade of Clayton Kershaw. I know that a lot of people might say Justin Verlander was a little bit better. Max Scherzer was very good. Nobody was as good as Kershaw at his peak. He won 3 Cy Youngs. He won the MVP. I always will remember watching Kershaw, all those years, 2013, 2014. He won the Cy Young in 2011. Then he won it in 2013, and then in 2014, the year that he also won the MVP. He had a bunch of good years after that. It was kind of like 2018, 2019, where Kershaw started to transition into like that older pitcher. 2016, 2017, he still was a guy that could touch 94, 95, 96. It probably wasn't until, like I said, 2018, 2019, where you started to see the velo dip a little bit more, and he wasn't necessarily like the best pitcher in baseball anymore, but was still super good. And then he's kind of just found ways to reinvent himself a lot. Every year, if you look at his numbers, it's crazy. 2020, he was really good. 2021, he was really good. Those are the years where the injuries started to pile up, and he kind of never would have like a full season. But 2022, he started the All-Star game. 2023, he was really good. So he just continues to be really good. He's one of my favorite pitchers of all time. Like I said, he's the best pitcher of my generation that I've watched, and he's going to always be, the best pitcher that I've always seen and my favorite pitcher. So anytime I get to watch him pitch, it's very cool, and we're going to get to see his 3,000th strikeout next week, probably, against the White Sox, so that'll be a cool moment. They're going to be showing his family like they always do, so it's kind of funny, Kershaw, because going into the season, it was kind of thought that he wouldn't pitch until like the middle of the year. I thought it wouldn't be the last year we saw of Kershaw, but he came back a little bit sooner, actually came back in May. If he ends up pitching the full season, I wonder if Kershaw would actually retire after this year. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I just find that interesting that I think he would have liked to have more of a full season than a half season to leave on. Again, if he would have got hurt again, he probably would have just hung it up and said, I'm getting hurt so much, he's just going to retire. It's really cool. He actually has talked about in the last few years how he's always going to take a 1-year deal at this point in his career. And he actually said a couple years ago, I don't want to say took it for granted when it came to being a Dodger, but if you would have asked him, he maybe would have went and played in Texas. Everyone knows that if he was ever going to play for someone else, it would have been the Rangers. He's from Texas. And last year, when at the parade, everyone knows when he screamed Dodger for life and all that, it was a cool moment. And he's actually said, there's no doubt I'm going to finish my career here. So it's really cool. Hopefully it's not the last year for Kershaw, just selfishly, because I can't think of a world where he's not on the Dodgers. But him pitching this good and coming back as early as he did, it's probably the last time we're going to see him, honestly. It probably will be his last year, if I had to guess. But he is 37 years old. It's not like he's like 40, 41. He could go a couple more years if he wanted. So we'll see how the year shakes out. What's kind of unfortunate for him is that the Dodgers have all these guys that are due to come back. And, Yamamoto is their best pitcher. Shohei's looked really dominant. That's 2 pitchers right there. If Glasnow comes back, he's an option above Kershaw. They have other younger guys as well. So he could end up pitching a lot this season, but not really being on the postseason roster. That'd be a tough decision, but can't really get that far ahead because the Dodgers have had so many injuries and stuff. So it's not really like safe to do that. So lastly, I wanted to talk about Freddie and Mookie. So Freddie only had 1 hit in this series. Mookie had 4. So Mookie has looked a little bit better. I put this out on my X a little bit ago, so I'm just going to read it from my phone. Mookie did have some hard hit balls this weekend, which is nice to see. I think Mookie Betts is going to heat up soon. So in Game 1, Mookie had 105.7 mile an hour line out, as well as hitting a 97.8 mile an hour double. So 2 missiles in the first game. Then in Game 2, another line out, 98.2 off the bat. Game 3, which was today, 105.6 mile an hour line out. That was in his first at bat. And then he hit another double. It was 98 miles an hour off the bat. So a lot of hard hit balls for Mookie in the series, and he was a little bit unlucky. You could tell his swing is looking better, so I think that's good sign for Mookie. Freddie has looked very lost. I was kind of digging into some of his numbers about how bad he's been in the month of June. I wonder if it's one of the worst months he's had in his career. It's been awful. I don't think he's hit any home runs, and he has like no hits. Like he's been very bad. But the plate discipline was looking a little bit better. He got that hit today. I think he's gonna get better. It's kind of weird with Freddie because he's like one of the only like slump-proof hitters in the game, but he has such a he goes on these heaters where he's so good. Uh, Eventually, he will cool down at some point, so it's just kind of weird to see him struggle. But Mookie is someone I'm interested in watching his at bats in Kansas City. Pay attention to Mookie, guys, because I think his at bats look really good. He's hitting the ball harder. I think he's going to heat up soon. I think he is. I put that out on my X. Watch out for Mookie. Then lastly, I didn't mention the final out of this play. The final play of this game. So Tanner Scott was in to close the game. Runner on first base, 1 out. A line drive to center field. Andy Paz makes the catch. The runner on first was caught sleeping. Andy Paz threw the ball to first to double him up. So Andy Paz, we talked about before, his defense, and now he has a cannon. I just wanted to show outs above average for all outfielders. He ranks 13th in all of baseball. And when it comes to arm strength, I thought this was really cool. Andy Paz has the 13th strongest arm on average for all outfielders. He averages 94.2 miles an hour. And his max is 99, so that's pretty cool. So I just thought those were some pretty cool numbers. So Andy Paz, he's got a cannon. He's always going to throw you out. Don't ever run on Andy Paz. So that's going to wrap up episode 35 of Talking Blue. Thank you guys for listening. We are going to do a preview series on the upcoming series, Dodgers Royals, this weekend. Shohei will pitch on Saturday, so that's really cool. Dustin May is going to go Friday, and then I think it will be Sunday. I'm blanking on who it would be Sunday. But good series. Royals are a good team. They have struggled as of late, but they have really good pitching, bad offensive team. It's a big yard out there in Kansas City. So, as always, you can get this podcast, Talking Blue, on Spotify. You can get it on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you prefer to watch and you see my new up-close cam. As well as follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, X, at Talkin' Blue Pod. You can follow my personal X, at Talkin' Blue Nick, where I live tweet throughout the games and drop other cool information. So, as well as Reddit, competitive Week 8715. All the Talkin' Blue stuff is on there. You can't miss it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back to preview the Royals and the Dodgers this weekend.